everybody. Welcome to the 31st live stream. This is feedback time. My name is Dripment. I hope you have submitted your track in the Discord. If you haven't, the Discord link is in the description. You can submit your banger there, and we'll review it. We'll see if it's dope. We'll go over mix down, song arrangement, everything that's good. We'll see if you actually have a banger. Let's hop into Ableton. We have about, 7 submissions so far. And it looks like the first submission is called Deep House, and it is by Danix. D-A-N-I-X, Danix with Deep House. We're going to get groovy to start off the show. Let's go ahead and get down with the get down. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell so we can get videos coming to your feed all the time. Let's get it.
Every time I look at you, I'm falling more. You're the only one that my heart beats for. And every time I look in your eyes, and that way, I can tell you
Get your hands up.
Now look what you done to me. Oh, this
Go all
feeling
night
so
long.
bittersweet. Cause I didn't plan for you to come sweep me off my feet. But oops, I'm in love and I'm falling deep. You feel the same.
So load up.
This feeling so bittersweet. Cause I didn't plan for you to come sweep me off my feet. But oops, I'm in love and I'm falling deep. Every time I look at you, I'm falling more. You're the only one that my heart beats for. And every time I look in your eyes, and that way, I can tell you feel the same.
All right. That is Deep House by Danix. Cool. This is really vocal leaning, lots of piano is like the bass. This is like what we call like Italio house. You know what I'm saying? Really piano heavy, vocal heavy house that keeps it grooving, keeps it moving. There are some things here that sound very unnatural and that should be fixed. And the song in general is at about -10 left, so it should be a little bit louder just so that you can match all the other deep house songs that are being DJ'd currently. That'll be really important just so that your song doesn't sound super quiet compared to all the others. Use reference tracks, check LUFS to get close to all that. But since you're using song with harmony and melody and chords and everything that's emotional and good, you're not going to be able to just do pitch bends like this because it's going to sound out of harmony. It's going to sound dissonant and it's not going to sound natural. As this ARP starts to build, many of the frequencies are not in scale. They're not in like tuned in key. So it doesn't sound right. And it really changes the energy at the end of here. So I would definitely not do this. Same thing with this pitch rise over here.
Every time every time
The ARP is pitching too. So like you have to be careful pitching melodic elements like that. There's a reason we pitch like have risers that rise in pitch separately, and also we can chop up vocals and have those rise in pitch. That can work too. That's a little bit different. But just be aware of that. Also, in these drops, like you have a lead vocal, a strong emotional lead vocal, and that vocal should be used in the drop. I know you're using it, like chopping it, but the way it's chopped, and since we don't have like the full phrase coming out or her sentence or like that emotion that she's singing, just doesn't feel as powerful. So use that vocal that you have in the drop as well and incorporate it so that we can feel her emotion and that energy, and it'll really make it a complete song. These things at the end too are really nice. Little hums in the background, and use that more throughout the song too. That's fire. Cool. Good job. Vibes. I like vibes at the beginning. Ooh, the housing. Where's your house? I don't know. The economy won't let me get one. So I got a deep house. Up next, we have Western Rhythm, work in progress by Vlad. And look at the cover art. Appropriate. Let's get it done. Let's get it done. For the one time, for the two. Volvo.
Will all who wish to die please raise their hands? Really?
Well, that's excellent.
Okay, cool. So, honestly, this is kind of odd energy, because there's not really call and response going on. The main bass lead is going really fast all of the time. And there's not really sections of space or silence that let us dance between sections. This music needs to be danceable, right? It shouldn't be. We're not making just regular electronic music. We're making electronic dance music. And if you're trying to make just regular electronic ambient music, you would want to go a different route than this. If you're wanting to make electronic dance music, then we need to go a different route and create higher energy and make sure that the drop doesn't feel halftime. Because when we're listening to this, the natural head bobbing motion is actually half the speed of what this BPM is. You like this? And really we should be like this. But the bass leads and the energy that's created does not make me want to dance that fast. And that's kind of a thing that you want to be aware of all the time. You want to create your music so that it is matching the BPM that it's in. And then when you do that, the majority of the song will be in regular timing, and then you can creatively use the halftime or double time aspects of music, like put like a halftime build up or a halftime breakdown or a double time break section, anything like that. So you can get creative, but we can't have the whole song be halftime because it's slow. You have to make sure that when you're playing it, it matches the speed of everything else. The ambience in the background is very loud as well. It's taking up a lot of the mix, and there's more silence in between it. There would feel like there's different sections. Really, that ambience is controlling the whole mix throughout the, like, it's like a foreign ambience. It's like the rhythm, country rhythm thing that you had going on. So make sure that space and that reverb is controlled, because it's really taking over everything and not allowing there to be movement between phrases is very important. Just keep aware of those things, work on those. Going to make this a lot more danceable, a lot more fun, a lot more higher energy. Be good. Very good idea though. Good theme. I like this Western rhythm thing you got going on. This is sick art. I love it. Just keep it going, dog. Keep it going. Maybe sample some Western movies or something. Get it done. Okay. Up next, we got G Baby coming in with Wanna Go Fast dash G Money. Let's get it done. Sorry, we got some Dripment. I don't want to go fast. There you go. All speeds. What you know about that? We're gonna go all speed. You're tuning in to 106.9 the third. We got half speeds, full speeds, double speeds, and triple speeds. Catch me up with that speed. I'm down with the speed. No. Put your hands up for the Okay, okay. That's Wanna Go Fast by G Baby. Naturally, baby. Okay, 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 okay. So, be honest, this ain't it, Chief. 1 Chief, 2 Chief, or 3 Chief. This ain't it. Let me explain. This is drum and bass. You're already producing at a really fast speed, so energy level should be high, right? But the way you're using this Vox, it's like, you know what I'm saying? First off, that doesn't really sound perfectly in key with the harmony that's being played. So right away, it sounds dissonant, and it doesn't sound heartwarming, unenjoyable, and let alone you repeat it a lot, like a lot. It becomes extremely repetitive, and it doesn't sound good. Okay, bass lead. Boom, 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 boom. It's the same pattern, the whole thing, but most importantly, there's not really call and response with it. So as soon as it starts playing, it's just like a response, and there's not an introduction to the bass lead. Because of this, it becomes extremely repetitive over time. Only these first couple phrases sounds good, but over time the energy levels start to go down and lower because there's not call and response that's getting us that push and pull motion that makes us dance, and most importantly, keeps the energy uh, increasing. We want the energy to increase over time in the drop, not decrease. That's the opposite of what we want to happen here. The Vox thing that's also happening when you start this drop shouldn't be there. It should be like in the intro, and because you want to like introduce harmonic element, right? And then when the drop hits, that's when you like kind of go minimal and like darker. That's when the drop becomes like heavier and has that contrast between the cool Vox at the beginning that is should be in key and transitions to like a darker, harmonious, more minimal drum and bass drop that keeps the dance floor moving. You know what I mean? This is not really danceable track. It's just more like background music, like in that Club 3 Dub Edition drum and bass. So remember, it's not 2004 anymore, not 2007. These sounds aren't going to be new and fresh, especially to the drum and bass scene. So just keep in mind, bring in reference tracks, see what's going on, start studying what they're doing, incorporate it in your music. It'll help a lot. All right, next we have Activated by Snasta. Let's get it done. Activated. Why you hating? Activated.
Let's get it over with.
That was nasty.
Nice tag placement. All right. Very nice. We got some heavy rhythms up in here. I'm liking the flows. I'm liking the vibes. Cool. Mix down sounded pretty clean, man. I didn't hear, there was no mud explosions. You know what I'm saying? So that's really good news. It sounded nice and loud, wide, pretty clean. the flow in this section is particularly off the chain. There was a chain. This is off the okay. This flow is still on the chain. All right, still on the chain. I think the reason this flow is so good is because of the space. Like it goes in the background bass is like space, and then like the rhythm basses keep playing. It's like, see this emptiness right here, this kind of like silence, where because all the other basses in the background are playing, but in this section it's not, and in another section it's not. Like that's making a huge difference in like how hard you want to headbang. So you should incorporate that stuff in. In that too, just to get that feeling. I know they're doing the same thing, but if you could feel the different energy levels, that's what we're looking for. Now, the drop, it starts to get repetitive over time, you know, it's really the same thing. And like, you can tell that you understand this because you want to switch up the way it sounds in these sections. You switch it up by like pitching it up more. One of the basses, and it's just really not enough of a switch, enough of a change. You need to really add more variation so that it sounds like a different phrase to keep the listeners engaged. Otherwise, the energy levels do drop at this section, and really want to make sure that doesn't happen. So you could easily mess with the LFOs of the basses and start, you know, making different rhythms and trying to incorporate silence like I keep talking about so that it feels different. The other sections going to help a lot. And then of course the intro is super empty. So there's like this melody playing, but that's the melody. There should be harmony as well. You can have chords, like dark chords playing underneath that melody. Make a huge difference. And then on top of that, you want to layer a vocal on top of all that so that everything can sound full, emotional, nice, dark, deep, instead of this, because this is extremely skippable, very empty, and you don't want it to be empty. You want it to be full. So just work on that. That'll be good. Good job. Up next, we got Scarpe, the Skrillex-inspired WIP Skrilly. What year of Skrilly do you guys think he is inspired from? Put it in the chat. Is it 2012, 2013 Skrilly? Is it 2014, 15, 16 Skrilly? Back you Skrilly. Is it 18, 19 Skrilly? Or is it the new 22, 23 Quartet Skrilly? The world may never know, but we shall know when we hit the play button. All right, let's go. Scarpe, in for the one time. Skrilly talk. What year Skrilly is this one? I like some 18 Skrilly. What? Ooh, boy, that is some Skrilly inspired. That's nice. All the vocal chops and like the wavy chords and stuff. Feeling really nice. Luscious, I should say. The song in general is pretty quiet. I had to turn my audio interface up pretty high to hear it at an enjoyable level that made me want to like. But I must say, the mix down is clean. Your use of dynamics is very awesome. You can tell that there's really loud sections and then quiet sections. You can tell that we're going from like mono stereo and we're going back and forth. It's clean, no mud. Those are the things we need. A mixdown like this would be easy to master. You can easily start compressing buses and groups to then get it loud enough and maintain the dynamics of this, which is super important. This is awesome. Very good. Different. And I think that's really important. Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. Keep on with all the creative stuff that will get you far. Stay inspired. We got Yuck up next with Kazumi. Let's get it done.
So, just come to this. Let them come. Carnage.
Okay, that is Yuck with Zoomy. Now, I'm gonna say, dude, this bass, like, really not it, and it's playing throughout this whole thing. So, like, just very harsh. It's too loud, but not like in decibel volume. I mean, like with EQ. Like with an EQ, you can shape this sound to then fit with the mix. It doesn't really sound like you've done that. It just sounds like it's just there, and it's just like overpowering everything. Then your poor sub is like behind the scenes, wanting to come out, play, like be the star of the show because the sub's really fun and sub wants a fun time. But this bass lead is very. It doesn't sound heavy. It sounds annoying. Honestly, it sounds like an old hybrid trap, and it's very harsh to the ear. So I would make sure you EQ it to a point where it doesn't sound harsh and blends in with the mix, and then get that sub pumped up, get it louder, fatter, so that that can also be balanced with the main bass lead. And then with that bass lead in other sections, you can transpose it down an octave so that it sounds deeper and darker in some sections. That'll make a big difference going from the high pitched lead to the low pitched lead. Then it wouldn't sound as repetitive, and there would be a good flow between those tones. In this section, though, there are sustains that are being played. That sounds, there's a lot of harsh frequencies. It's extremely crowded. It doesn't sound like anything has its own space. You really want to keep all of that in mind with the stereo image, wideness, and mono, and then with the frequency spectrum, lows, mids, highs. You'll shape everything so that they all have their own space in the mix. Very important. Do that so that it sounds good to the ears and is most importantly danceable. Makes people want to headbang. Cool. We have Le Reptile with Dracula. Parentheses, Fallen Crown EP, parentheses. Okay. See what you got. I am a bell, and I am also Dripment. I am not a pirate, just a regular guy. Okay, so this is Dracula by Le Reptile, Final AP, parenthesis. Okay, there's a couple of things that I think really need to be fixed in this because they're not sounding right. They're not sounding good. First thing is your main bass lead. So what I'm hearing is that it sounds very low in volume. It sounds hidden in the mix compared to the other noises that are happening around it. Okay, so it's easy to tell because we have this section. This is like a clap or like a white noise thing or something that's like very loud. And then your main bass leads come on after that, which should be literally the loudest part, loudest things in your song. But this is actually the loudest thing in your song. So let's listen. You hear that? So it sounds like you're compressing these leads, but they're lowering in volume, and it doesn't sound like maybe the compressor is being used properly. Just check your compressor settings, make sure that you know how to use the compressor properly so that you're increasing the volume and making things balanced in the mix. Also make sure that these are not this loud. Whatever that is. I don't know what that is. It just sounds like white noise actually. So if these were a lot louder and heavier, it would make a huge difference. The sub itself is a lot louder and heavier than this, so it's kind of getting overtaken. So fix those things. White noises, same issues are happening over here. These bass leads, there's very low volume. So make sure that they're being compressed and saturated individually, and then they're being compressed and saturated in groups. Don't go too hard with the dry and wet. Go minimal on everything, and all those minimal settings will start to build up and stack eventually to create clean, boosted gain of 1,000. Show. Okay, up next we have Ether Machine by Psychedelics. Let's get it done. Enter the ether. Very cool. That was Ether Machine. All right. Now, that song by Psychedelics, Ether Machine. Check out the cover art. Pretty cool. Looks like some Mid-Journey. This song, it has some potential. You know, there's a lot of crazy cool sound design that's going on, but the way things are arranged and the way the drop progresses and stuff sounds very congested, and it doesn't really sound like these sections seem very extended. There's no snare. Like, you took out the snare. Like, you can't do that. You know, the snare is there so that we can headbang, and that's the rhythm of the song, literally. So I want you guys to think of like house music and techno and stuff. Like, you know, there's kicks, claps like the whole time. It doesn't stop because this is dance music. The snare and the clap, the rhythm of the song. That's how we dance. If you take out the snare during the drop, we stop dancing. And then if you do it multiple times through the drop, it becomes a big problem. So keep the energy and flow of your drop and keep your drums consistent so that we don't lose the rhythm of the song. Can't do that. Just like when you're DJing, if you accidentally have people stop dancing or you fuck up, like, that's a big deal. So think of it when you're producing too. You don't want to have people stop dancing on your calls. So this pre-drop sounds like it flows into this. They kind of sound like the same thing. You kind of want to make sure that these all sound separate, the pre-drop and the downbeat and the response. The downbeat also should be loud in volume to match the response as well, because it sounds lower in volume and it's losing the energy as soon as the drop starts. So you want to make sure it's loud and impactful because that's the first downbeat of the drop, and that's the introduction to the full drop. So it's really important that is fat, nice, and loud. And then lastly, the sub in general is just very weak and low volume. You want to make sure that you get a sine wave and boost it as much as you can with saturation. Low pass it, boost it again with saturation, low pass it until it's just this crazy thing. And then mid pass it and just make the perfect, clean, loud sine wave. And then use that as your sub. And then if you need it to be more distorted, add a little bit of saturation on top of that. Get a little bit of distortion. So that will help. That will get this track feeling a lot heavier as well. All right, next is name, question mark, and wish I could. Final, version 2. that was pretty chill. Wish I could. Final. Go ahead and look at the cover art. Oh, shit. This is a name. This is a name with the name. Wish I could. All right, so basically, this is pretty chill. You know, this is some vibes. You can play this. Probably if it was mixed correctly. Feel like they're tripping crazy. It sounds in key. The things that need to be fixed though are like the main bass lead. This reminds me, by the way, of like some old UKF stuff. I really like it. The main basses are just very low in volume. They're hidden in the mix. The vocal and the fills are louder than the main bass lead. And this is a pattern throughout the whole drop, first and second. That needs to be fixed right away. Those need to be the star of the show rather than everything else. Then everything else should support those main bass leads. It'll sound very clean like that, and it will make a huge difference. The drop you have here, the drop, really cool. You really get sucked into that. That's nice. But this is not really a call and response, you know, and because of that, the energy gets lost fairly quickly. It's like dun 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 dun. That's just the same bass changing speeds. It's not really a call. You want there to be a call, like a introductory bass, bass that kind of sets the tone, and then it gets led into the response, and then you go back and forth with the call and response so that it creates movement and makes you want to actually move. Because of this, the energy levels just go down, and it happens throughout the whole drop. So you need to fix the call and response too to actually make this a higher energy level. Otherwise, it'll just stay half time, and over time, people will not want to keep replaying it over time. So definitely want to fix those things. A lot. It's all about energy. It's all about vibes with this music. So get it done, get it done. Okay, next we have Jammin' by Mipsy. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Jammin', jammin', jammin'. Oof, that's clean, man. The thing I notice most is how clean the sub is, like in the mix of the drop. Very nice. But this main bass lead right here, it sounds too dry. It doesn't sound like wide enough, or sounds maybe not enough reverb. Something about it sounds too dry compared to everything else. So it's like kind of abnormal. This is here too, and here. I would just like probably use some convolution reverb on this, like minimal decay time, nothing long, very short. Just put it in its own little space so that it can chill and breathe. This is really cool. This is trippy, man. I close my eyes and imagine being like at a forest rave, some psychedelics. This is the type of shit that would get me feeling crazy. So good. Very good job. Most importantly, the vocals sound perfectly in key and perfect harmony. Everything else that's going on here. It's very nice. This is good. This is art. I love it. Good job. Clean subs, nice vocals, clean mix down. Doesn't have to be too loud. You got like -8 LUFS, which is I think is good for this type of song. So run it, man. Finish it. Finish. Next we got Lodian with Total Darkness. This should be good. Let's get it done. Okay, so I like the drop. You know, the drop is heavy. There's a lot of frequencies that are just crowded and clashing and sounds very harsh to the ears. Like, listen to this section. Like, so many harsh frequencies are building up and just like it doesn't sound ideal to the ear. It doesn't sound clean. Sure. So you really have to be careful with layering all these basses together. Those EQs to make sure that you're not just cleaning up mud, but you're also cleaning up the harsh frequency. Look, our ears hear frequency sounds in a certain way. Basically, the lows we hear, the lows are allowed louder than we perceive. So that's the first thing you got to know. So that's why we cut to the lows and we don't stack the lows. That's why we only have one sub. The more we move up the frequency spectrum, the more we can stack frequencies. But the more that we stack, that means it's going to get very loud in some frequencies, and some frequencies are very harsh. So there's this thing called the Fletcher-Munson curve. This is how we hear and perceive frequencies. These are the frequencies that are harshest to our ears, the ones that are going up right here. With this, we can actually turn down those frequencies so that they're not harsh on our ears. And things like this, mixing tricks like this, are what you should be doing. So first, you're not blowing people's ears. Second, you're creating a clean mix. And third, you're creating the energy levels that are appropriate. You know, energy can be so much higher if the mix was cleaner. So make sure you use these Fletcher-Munson curves, control the harsh frequency. Or you can just get a regular EQA and make dips in any of these ranges that sound best to you and start cleaning up the mix accordingly. A lot of different sections are clashing in this, so you're going to have to go through the whole drop, all the basses, and really fix this. In future songs, really should mix as you go. If you're going to layer this many sounds, you should for sure mix as you go. Mixing and mastering is usually done at the end of like house songs, like songs with like not a lot of tracks, like a house song or a pop song, a hip hop song. Very simple songs that don't have a lot of tracks and all kinds of frequency buildups. With this extreme heavy electronic dance music that we're making, we're literally just randomly stacking frequencies. We have to be aware of that. We have to mix as we go and be aware that frequencies stack really easy. It's loud and can mess up the mix. Lastly, the guitar doesn't really match this. This is called total darkness, but this guitar is like not dark. Like the guitar loop is, God, it's so simple and it doesn't match the vibe, and it really feels like almost cheesy. This guitar loop, it sounds like not even a real guitarist is like getting down. It's just like very simple art. It doesn't really make sense with like this drop. So I would really try to create a theme and make sure that this all is cohesive, because as soon as you start this intro, you're not expecting like a dark song, alternative rock song or something. And then on top of that, the way you used the space in the drums is not right, because there's too much reverb and like too much space being created, and the drums are like lost in a wetness of space and reverb. Right here, it sounds like the reverb is just turned up on like everything. The rides on top are so loud compared to everything. Or snare and drums. Like, listen to those toms. Those toms should be loud, but they're not. So just literally listen to like real rock bands and real drummers and listen to how the dynamics are. You can't kill your dynamics like this, because it just seems like it's just noise at this point. It's not really drums being played, like reverb noise. So you got to be careful with that. Control the space. Don't stack reverb either. And if you have a clean mix, gotta be careful. It's really easy to fuck up your clean mix. If you have a clean mix, you gotta realize it's clean, leave it as clean, fix things that aren't clean. Over time, your ears will adjust. I think this is probably the hardest part of music. As soon as you get to that professional advanced level, the last thing that we're looking for is a clean mix down. That's what will make the difference if your track is played out or not. So, up next, we have basic snare with basics razor half clear called Fuck Love. I agree, brothers. Fuck love, let's get it.
Listening to the song, not asking for help. 'Cause I know you'll come back, but I saw you with another guy. Don't lie to me.
All right, guys. I know that there's 3 people laughing on this song, but you really shouldn't make 3 different genres and put it in one song. That's just irresponsible, honestly. I'm not too sure what you guys are even thinking or why you guys are acting like this sounds good. Like there's 3 of you together. You guys, one of you should tell each other like, yo, maybe this is too long, or yo, maybe this doesn't sound good. Because I don't know what you guys are expecting. It's 3 different songs in one, 3 different energy levels in one. And because of that, nothing is cohesive and it doesn't sound like, it sounds very random, right? It shouldn't sound random. It should sound like it all comes together and all makes sense. I'm sure you have heard songs that are like a dubstep drop at the beginning and then like a psytrance drop in the second drop, and they make it work. Like there's ways to make different genres work, but you guys didn't do that. One of the main reasons you didn't do that is because the main theme and the main lead of the song is this super emotional piano. A very slow piano, by the way, that's creating this super halftime fill. So energy levels are basically all over the place. Timing is all over the place. It sounds very empty in these sections. And then song arrangement is really messed up because you have 64 bars that play of just ambient sounds, basically. And then when we get to the drop, you only give us 16 bars. Like you can visually see this is our drop and this is the intro, which is just insane. We're remember we're kind of here for the drop. If you want us to be here for this melody, it shouldn't be this empty. There should be like pads and chord progressions and harmony to be played with this melody. It cannot be this empty. And then when someone sings on the track, they need to sing in key and they need to be tuned. Auto-tune does not fix everything. When someone does not know how to sing and they start singing, auto-tune's not just going to put their notes in the right section. We use Melodyne for that. If someone doesn't know how to sing, you put Melodyne, it'll tell you what notes they sing, and it'll literally show you what notes are out of scale, so you just put them in scale, and then auto-tune is after that to help tune that vocal even more professionally and get it sounding perfect harmony. When vocals start to sound out of key, it creates dissonance, and the energy levels go down, and it creates something that doesn't sound pleasing to the ears, especially when our ears are trained to hear things in harmony. That's how pop music is made in the United States and stuff. So our ears have been trained for many years on what sounds right and what doesn't. Keep these things in mind. It'll help a lot. Remember, sidechain is way too strong. It shouldn't duck that much. You want to serve dynamics. You want to make sure that the kick isn't overpowering everything. So just work on those things. It'll help a lot. You guys want this music to be played out. You guys want this music to be shared and replayed. Want that, then what I said, so that everything can sound perfect harmony or have a theme. It could be split into 3 different songs easily. Might as well do that, or rework this into one song that's not 5 minutes long. Okay. Up next, we have Smileys coming in hot with Come to Die. Work in progress, number 2.
No sign of him, my lord.
Boy who lived, come to die. Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
sign of him, my lord.
It's hard. Just hit 69 views. Congratulations.
Boy who lived, come to die.
Harry Potter. She. Alright, man. That was energy. That was nice. Lovely. Okay, very good. So, as you guys hear, energy levels are high with this one. This fake out right here. Creating tension, creating energy, to bring yourself in. Only thing that's not good is this silence here. This silence, honestly, is bringing down the energy when really it's a perfect space to bring up the energy. Like in the drop, there's that Harry Potter sample. By the way, it should be turned up a little bit, that Harry Potter sample. But that kind of like creating a theme almost. And if you were to like rename the song like Harry Potter or Hogwarts, something like that, and maybe sample some of their like sounding stuff in the intro with this thick bass, you can create a really themed song that then is propelled not to just a regular rhythm song, because right now it's just like a regular heavy rhythm song, which can be easily washed out in all the other heavy rhythm songs that are available on SoundCloud right now. But if you were to easily fill this space with like Potter and like really theme this on the Harry Potter vibe, even if you don't like Harry Potter, you know what I'm saying? I'll get people to navigate and go to your song because it has a theme and it will have like replayability because it's like artistic, you know? So I would suggest doing something like that and thinking about that in your future songs, because you want to stand out as much as possible compared to all these other motherfuckers that are making heavy rhythm like this. Your rhythm sounds nice, mixed down, clean, heavy, no mud. Your fills are really nice, high energy. So this is good. Last thing you need to do is just create and compose the full thing and theme it out. Make it a beautiful piece of art. Good job. Good job. The smileys. Getting it done. Okay. Next, we have Anxiety with I Hear Voices. Let's go.
Find the light, the devil's whispers haunt me every single night. I try to break free, but the chains won't budge. I'm trapped in this darkness,
All right, that's I Hear Voices. Now, anxiety. You might hear voices, but dang, these voices are not the best voices. Like this Vox right here.
Around me, can't find the light. The devil's whispers on me.
It's very bad, very cringe, very repetitive at this section as well. Sounds like it repeats like 6 times and not good repetition. You really want to be careful using vocals like this because they need to match the vibe and the energy of the song, and really kind of like lowering the vibe and energy of the song doesn't match. Careful with them. When you're in your sub, so the sub is overpowering the whole mix and taking up everything. We can't hear or feel anything else. It seems like the sub's mids are very prominent, so you really want to dip all those mids. There should only be lows and highs playing on your sub, no mids whatsoever. So dip them all completely, and you'll hear that creates a lot more space in your mix so that everything else can breathe. Do that first. Turn the sub down a little bit. Do a sub test, and you can actually see how powerful that sub is compared to everything else. Like a car with an actual subwoofer, like a room with an actual subwoofer, something so that you can play your sub and compare it to others. And then if you think about it, with these sounds, there's not really any dynamics. They're all very loud. Nothing's really quiet except for these sections. You really want there to be loud and quiet sounds with the basses so that there's dynamic and movement between these sounds.
Fucking rot.
Like this Reese.
Fucking rot.
This Reese is like kind of blended in with these sounds because they all sound very overly compressed and the same. You want to be careful with that. Dynamics is really everything. That's how we can feel the song and vibe to it. And then lastly, all the drops you call and response. So this is like a Reese. It's like a bass that leads into something. But if you hear over here, it's longer. So this doesn't essentially become a call anymore. It's more like a fill because it doesn't flow into this section. So you want to make sure that you have nice flow and dynamics between each call and response. Make sure that there's call and response happening with every phrase. Like too many of these fills are happening too many a time, so it sounds very repetitive. It doesn't sound normal or natural. Make sure that your phrasing is being paid attention to. Muerte taught us that you could just stick to like A, B, A, C phrasing for your drop, and it'll be a really easy way to organize everything and ultimately sound cohesive. And so I would try that, especially with all this going on. Up next, we got Empiric with Chinook. Okay, cool. That's empiric with T-Nuck. I don't know what T-Nuck means, but damn. Some tear out craziness. Honestly, disappointed with this because there's so much freaking potential. And I know there's good sound design in here. Hear it. But everything is lost in sound. I mean, it's literally hitting 0.3 LUFS. Like, just so you guys know, ear piercing, like once we hit -3 LUFS, it's ear damage level. Literally. We're damaging our ears while listening to songs at -3 LUFS. In 2023, 2020 is the first time we've been able to push music this loud while still maintaining dynamic. Okay? Murata did it. He proved it. That's why he's been touring around the world. We don't want to go louder than -3 LUFS unless we have perfect dynamics. What are dynamics? Dynamics are the difference between loudness and softness in a song. Dynamics can happen in an individual wave form and in the song together and as a group. Dynamics can be used in many different ways. If you look here at the waveform visually, you can see it's all the way at the top. It's clipping. We can't even see what's going on. During the buildup, we're hitting -2 LUFS, so it's very, very loud. It's irresponsibly loud for a buildup. It's not normal for a buildup to be this loud. Because of it, it sounds like a wall of noise, and we're not able to differentiate between loudness and softness. So the loudness becomes a constant loudness, and that energy starts to drop down over time. Most importantly, I can't fucking turn my audio interface up to a point where I can actually listen and enjoy the song because you're hurting my ears and you're blowing my ears. And I don't have earplugs in. When I go to the club, I put in earplugs so that I'm not blowing my ears. But I don't have earplugs in with these headphones. You don't need them. So you got to be very careful and not to make these things too loud. Do not over compress. Do not over limit. Compressors have to be used very minimally. And it's not about getting your song loud. It's getting it loud and clean. So this isn't clean. It's just loud. Too loud. Got to fix it. I wasn't able to pay attention to the song due to the loudness, fortunately. So tune it down and start to just think as -3 LUFS being your maximum loudness. And like -5 LUFS can be the minimum loudness. Work from there. All right, up next, we have Monodef. It's Jackson and Monodef with Bust a Clip. Get it done. Okay, cool. That's Jackson and Mono Def with Bust a Clip. It's pretty decent. You know, we got some pretty cool sound design, but the way that everything is arranged doesn't sound clean. It sounds pretty crowded. We look at we have a lot of like weird noises on the sides and a lot of stacked like reverbs and frequencies that sound very unnatural. And the mix doesn't sound like there's enough space for everything to breathe. And because of that, it sounds too crowded. You gotta be careful with like side layers and layering your basses with others. You gotta know exactly what they're doing in the frequency spectrum and also where they're placed in the stereo image. There's not really any dynamics, you know, it's just like noise constantly going. The calls and the responses should be prominent. We should know when there's a call and then when there's a response. Like these fills, or they're the same loudness, same volume. There's not really a difference in like a level of energy. Remember, dynamics is the difference between loudness and softness. So you have to create that. It goes loud and then boom, it goes soft, go back loud, and that's like creating that psychedelic motion that this dance music's all about. So this is decent, you know. This isn't something that I'd play out or anything. It's something that I would probably skip pretty quickly because the energy levels are digressing over time. I keep mentioning this. When your drop starts, the hardest part is this section. It's the highest energy. When we start moving to the next phrases, energy levels start to go down. It's our job to make sure that energy levels go up instead of down. If you don't do that, then we won't keep dancing and it's not going to be a club banger that people keep repeating over and over and over again. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for a good song, looking for that banger. Up next, we have Alpha J with ID. Let's get it done. that's Alpha J with ID number 1. Now we have a pretty good fake out right here. Pretty nice notch tension and energy right here. But when we get to the drop, it's really not delivered. Like the tension is built, but this release is just not it. One of the main reasons why is because this background noise in the background, if you could hear, it's like really screechy. It's like some random noise just being played in the background, and it's ruining the dynamics of the song. So I would take that out immediately and really focus on making this bass lead something that sounds heavy and dirty, rather than just like some annoying high-pitched trap lead that we used to do in like 2014. Like this should be rhythm, not trap. Lots of trappy leads that just don't sound heavy enough. It doesn't match the heaviness of your sub. Very nice sub. Like sustains like that. They don't really make sense. You really need to work on your sound design and get it to the point where your sounds sound heavy. Your song arrangement is all good. It seems like you'll be able to structure something fairly easily. Really focus on Serum, making dope sounds and learning what knobs create cool tones that you like, so that you can just whip out any sick sounds whenever you want to. Because this sound, I mean, it's playing throughout the whole time, sounds very repetitive. If you knew more about sound design, you can easily add and create variations with the sound that sound dark and dirty and are in contrast with the original one. I'll definitely work on that. It'll help a lot. Up next, we have Monoxide with Ryuko song WIP. The whip, the whip, the whip. Let's get it done. Go. Yeah, that outro probably would have been better in a different song because that was like a totally different vibe than what you just played us. And the transition from this to the piano was so abrupt. Like, don't do that. That doesn't sound good. Okay, so honestly, it sounded pretty good at the beginning and things were pretty hard, but when we got to the middle, the energy levels went down very significantly. It really sounds like the second drop is an exact replica of the first drop. And I just heard the first drop. I heard everything. And so on the second drop, I'm expecting new variations, new sounds, new tones. And I got none of that. It became very distasteful and boring as we progressed through the song. Like I keep saying, energy levels need to keep going up. Remember, people make the second drop usually harder so that like there's something to look forward to. There's reasons why we do this. Energy levels have to keep steady. Especially when you create such high energy levels at the beginning, which you did good. By the way, first drop is good. Everything sounds really nice. It's very heavy, great dynamics. The build-up flows into the drop very well. I'm really happy to hear that. You just want to make sure you create different energy levels and different rhythms in the second drop so that it doesn't sound like you just repeated the whole beginning, you know? That's important. Cohesion. Make things sound like a full piece of art, not just one drop and another drop. It all should sound like they work together. That sub. The sub is nice and balanced with the rest of the basses, so the mix down sounds clean. Nice noise in the background. Here's control of space. That's the stuff that we want to hear. It's hard to get clean mix downs like this, so you definitely get some props for that. For sure. And then these sustains, the way that they're pitching up and down, you manage it very well, and the pitch is very nice and smooth and good. Nothing sounds abnormal there, so yeah. I'll just definitely fix this outro, fix the repetitiveness of the second drop and those phrases. You'll be good to go. Up next, we have Tang with Sky God. Okay, what is Sky God? Alright, cool. That's Tang with Sky God. It's pretty decent. I gotta say though, the beginning drop, it sounds pretty boring. You know, it doesn't get exciting until this section. Like this is where it starts to sound like dirty. Makes you want to do the bass face. But in this, it just sounds pretty nice. It sounds like the main bass lead is almost lower volume. Hidden. And then in this section, the Vox and the reverb is not flowing. It's taking up the whole mix. EQ out all the lows of the reverb. Make sure that that vocal is perfectly in key because it doesn't sound like perfect. And maybe you might want to just lower it down an octave or something just to make it sound like a better tone that fits better with this section. I definitely add like melody and harmony here so that it's not just an ambient noise. There's actually some emotion getting through. A lot. Okay, cool. Next, we have Amuleto with Who's the Murderer. That was Amuleto with Who is the Murderer? I don't know. Who is? Okay, so kind of weird because I was like, sounds like one song is about to start, and then you're like, nah, let's not do that. And then you start another song. Like, nah. I'm like, okay, let's start this song then. I don't know what you're thinking, but you need to delete this. Don't just have some random tension build at the beginning that leads to nothing. And then this. This is not a fake out. This is just like reverb. This is like noise being played, and it's not creating tension and energy like a fake out is supposed to. It's literally all the energy drops. Like nothing's happening. That's not what a fake out's supposed to do. And by the time we get here, like there's no, like you've built all this tension and energy and then you drop it all off and then you want to release it here, but there's like, you're just releasing nothing because all the energy has been released already with this. You got to be very careful with how you're like arranging your drop and what you're using as the fake out. Usually the fake out would be the main bass. Like kind of you're getting teased with the main bass before the drop. And then boom, the drop hits, all the kicks and the lows come, and then start pumping. Like that's what a fake out's supposed to do. The only hard part that I thought was this. That's just not very hard. Like this is only in this section though, so it's like pretty sad because the rest of this is not really hard. The bass leads sound very contained. It sounds like there's no highs, and it sounds very muffled. The rides are louder than the bass leads. It shouldn't be happening. So you got to make sure you know how it sounds. I don't even know if you're using headphones. It sounds like you're not using headphones. So get some good headphones and make sure that you know exactly what you're listening to, that you can make proper mixing decisions. Cool. Up next, it's Asher Voss with Troublemaker. You're done.
Always felt like I was an outsider, away from a crowd. Yeah, I'm a bystander. I'm a sad girl that thinks she's a reminder. Wanna be good, but I'm a troublemaker. I'm a troublemaker. You can get mine, yeah. You can take another.
Okay, that is Asher Voss with Troublemaker. Cool. So you definitely are trying to put some emotion into this. I can feel it. The vocals definitely have a place here. Thing is that the vocals, they aren't like they sound intelligible. They don't sound audible enough. In some sections, it sounds like the vocals are stereo and not mono. You need to make sure that you always have your vocals in mono. And if you want there to be a stereo effect, then you have to parallel process it. So there'll be one layer of vocal that's mono, and then one layer of vocal that's doing the stereo effects. And both of those will combine to have your full signal that you need. I'm hearing a lot of weird things with the Vox, so just make sure you keep that in mind. And then when we get to the build up, the drop, there's actually no pre-drop. So you're just building up the tension and just throwing us into the drop with no space in between. The reason that pre-drops exist is so that create dynamics, like I keep talking about, and you go from super loud, quiet, hit them back with the loudness. And that difference between soft to loud, so it gets everything pumped up. The song in general is very quiet. It's at -10 lufs. This is like a future bass song. It should be much louder, like a -7 at least, or -6 lufs. And then you can also tell that things aren't mixed right because the bass sounds, which should be the star of the show, are actually lower in volume and they're hidden in the mix compared to like the pads, which sound louder. So things like that need to be fixed right away because it just sounds like there's no energy because of these things. So keep the energy levels high. It's electronic dance music, so you want to keep all these things in mind. Awesome. Thank you guys for joining. My name is Dripment. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord if you want to meet and make new friends. You can submit tracks there. You can join the voice channels and get feedback live. Make some friends, have fun. Thank you guys for joining and watching. I hope you guys have a good day. Stay fresh. Peace out. Latest.